下面呢，我们有请俄罗斯瓦尔代俱乐部项目主任莫斯科国立关系学院的教授 Oleg Barabanov， 他的发言题目是俄罗斯在支持全球南方合作中的角色。
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. I'm very glad and honored to be here in the conference. I'd like to express my gratitude to the organizers, to the East China Normal University, with whom we cooperate very closely for many years, and for Tricontinental Institute for this invitation. And I'd like briefly, because I was asked to prepare slides, so there are just some theses, and I will briefly mention it and focus on my last slide with practical proposals for BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. But before, I'd like to stress your focus on the historical heritage of the Soviet policy, of the Soviet support in the decolonization process, because it was started in mid-50s with the Bandung Declaration, with Asia-Africa Conference, and the Soviet Union always supported the Bandung principles, tried to implement them in real foreign policy. And also now, because we have the anniversary of the Bandung Conference, now in this year, we, the Valdai Club, my think tank, and Indonesian colleagues, we've prepared a special report on the historical meaning of the Bandung Conference. What does it mean for Indonesian youth now? Because we have some young experts from Indonesia, and so on. So it's important point, and the spirit of Bandung is still valid, and valid for Russia as well. And also we supported, we cooperated with the non-aligned movement in the struggle for peace. Then the next point, the economic and cultural help of the Soviet Union to decolonized countries, to new independent countries in Asia and Africa, and especially our help, our support to socialist countries and people's democracy countries worldwide. Let's remember Cuba, let's remember Ethiopia, Mozambique, Angola, and many others. Next, in the current situation, we in Russia think that Shanghai Cooperation Organization is the real cornerstone of common security and development for Eurasia. The organization is developing quite positively, promoting the spirit of mutual trust and cooperation among member states. And we also see the joint efforts of the SCO members in strengthening security and fight against terrorism in Eurasia. There is another point we see and we welcome the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative, and there are already many practical steps done for convergence between the Belt and Road Initiative and the Eurasian Economic Union, which unites Russia and several other post-Soviet countries in Central Asia. And we also promote the mutually fruitful China-Russia comprehensive strategic partnership, which we consider very important, really important thing for the Russian security, for the Russian development. Then the BRICS, it's clear that it became a symbol of solidarity of global majority of non-West and South. Sure that Russia is not South geographically, but I think that we can name Russia now as a part of global South politically. But at least we can also use more larger terms like global non-West or global majority, which is quite diffused in Russia now. And we see the enlargement of BRICS as a sign of its important status. And also we see the evolution of the BRICS spirit. And I have to say that it was our Chinese friends who first introduced the term, the BRICS spirit, in the BRICS summit declaration in 2017 when it was in China, then it was repeated and the next Chinese presidency in 2022. And after that, the term, the BRICS spirit, the concept of BRICS spirit remained in all following BRICS declarations. So, and now practical tasks. First, I think what we need to do for BRICS and the SCO is to strengthen real solidarity. I wouldn't like to say the United Front, but maybe vis-a-vis Trump's attacks on BRICS members and on Global South in general, on de-dollarizations, on tariffs, and so on. For example, this summer, my think tank, the Valdai Club, we had a conference in South Africa with our South African colleagues, and they expressed very openly that because South Africa became, unfortunately, one of the main targets for Donald Trump in his attacks, and South African friends asked very clearly that they wanted more solidarity from BRICS members. They wanted more support from BRICS members, not to be left alone vis-a-vis Trump and vis-a-vis the United States. The same later was expressed by Brazilian colleagues. We see that there was an extraordinary BRICS online summit organized under the Brazilian presidency, exactly on how to react on Trump's attack. But we see until now that all BRICS countries continue to negotiate with Trump on bilateral basis. It's the case of China, it's the case of India, it's the case of Russia, and almost all other countries. So what we need now to pass from symbol to practice, and more cooperation needed in economy and finances. I totally agree with Paulo Nogueira Batista, what Paulo, you said about the New Development Bank and many other things. And also, for me, it seems important to strengthen independent agendas in SCO and especially in BRICS, because I've published half a year ago a special report on evolution of BRICS platform of shared values at the Valdai website. And I've seen that at least until very last years, there were a practice that there is some point, some concept. First, it was discussed at the G7 meeting. Half a year ago, later, or a year later, it's repeated at the G20 meeting. And 2 years later, it's repeated at the BRICS meeting. So it's just following the Western agenda and not promoting some own initiative. And maybe the breakthrough, the first breakthrough was done in 2014 when there was the first South African presidency in BRICS. And there were at least first own BRICS proposal to support and financial assistance to African countries, mainly with the start was done with the Brazilian presidency at BRICS. The New Development Bank was structured, but still we see the limitations. Paulo already mentioned some of them. But putting Russia aside, which is, I understand it's a very extraordinary case, we have a pool of contingency reserves within the BRICS. And we have some problems, huge financial problems with some BRICS countries, maybe with Ethiopia. Why not to use our own contingency reserve to support the BRICS member? And instead, Ethiopia was obliged to apply to the IMF with all the IMF limitations, human rights agenda, and so on. And also, the last point, I think we have to strengthen our unified, united, cooperated, whatever term position of the global non-Western South in the G20. Because in the G20, all the Western countries, all the Western half of the G20, they speak with one voice, with one consolidated voice, with one consolidated position. and position of global South countries are diverse. And it means that the G20 in one scenario just accept in a softer way some Western proposal. In a harder way, it doesn't decide nothing. So we have to change this position that the voice of the global South, of the global non-West, could be heard, could be more solid within the G20 vis-a-vis Western partners. So that's what I wanted to say. There are two reports that I mentioned, the Valdai Club website, on the Bandung conference, and on the BRICS platform of shared values. Thank you very much.
好，谢谢巴拉巴诺夫先生，他讲的就是，首先回顾了一下苏联时期啊对世界去殖民化进程的所做的这个贡献，啊，接下来就讲的这个“一带一路”倡议啊，对“一带一路”倡议给予高度的评价，认为“一带一路”倡议呢促进了中俄关系的发展，促进了欧亚经济联盟同中国关系的发展。那么接下来呢，他就讲这个上海合作组织啊，上海合作组织金砖国家啊，目的呢，这些呢都是要，实际上就是我们从他的讲话当中，我们可以看到，就是更加确认了哈，就是俄罗斯实际上这些年来呢是把金砖国家、把上海合作组织作为俄罗斯开展对外关系发展对外关系的一个重要方向重要领域来进行经营的也把它看作是这个世界多极化推动世界多极化一个重要的这个平台重要的平台。他特别强调呢，要在当前情况下要特别加强真正的团结用了统一战线这样一个表述来应对呢美国总统特朗普对金砖国家成员国以及整个全球南方的攻击这个强调呢要加强上海合作组织，特别是金砖国家的独立议程不追随西方这个提法是比较新的，就是不追随西方集团的七国集团的这个议程只有这样，就强调这个非西方的立场我们南方国家的立场是非西方国家的立场是这个，我觉得这个他还是有一些新的提法非常感谢。